All right. So it looks like we have a couple of people here. Can you guys hear me and see my screen okay?
Yeah, we can hear you and see the screen.
Perfect. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Um, so my name is Brian Stinson. I'm on the infrastructure team with the CentOS project, and we're going to talk a little bit today about ci.centos.org and sort of what that can get you as a new member. So I think has everyone in the room gotten their credentials already? I think I sent out a few emails late last week with a few of those.
I have got a credit account in CentOS Bugzilla, but did not request for did not do the other steps. But yeah,
Okay. Um, yeah, let me make a note and I'll check on your account status and all that stuff. But so we can definitely start off just talking about what ci.centos.org is, and then we'll show you a short demo of what other projects are doing with the CI system, and then sort of give you an example job of sort of how to get started. So ci.centos.org is the goal is basically a number of different things. We want upstream projects to be able to verify their bits against the CentOS platform. Um, we want them to also be able to run their entire test suites inside our infrastructure themselves. So they basically get their project verification for free if they run their test suites on CentOS. Another big target audience is to allow the special interest groups who are working on various things to verify their deliverables. So, we don't have a hard policy on this, but a lot of SIGs are going to be going through the CI system as sort of a release gate on whatever it is they release, whether that's RPM repos or containers or something like that. Um, it would probably be good, because this sounds pretty standard, like pretty standard continuous integration, continuous delivery sorts of things. So I think we can probably talk a little bit about how we do that. ci.centos.org is a large set of infrastructure that's bare metal machines right now. They're all provisioned on demand with CentOS 5, 6, or 7. We have Jenkins on the front end that handles all the job management and everything like that. And there's also a place for projects to synchronize their artifacts. So if their test builds generate like a Docker container or even a repository or something like that, they can sync that out to a place on the internet that's available to anyone, and testers can pull that from that place there. If you want more information, you can check out wiki.centos.org. There's a description of a lot of this stuff in there. So I talked a little bit about bare metal machines and how that all works. The way that we do it on the back end is an API called Duffy. So Duffy is basically a really simple HTTP request API. Each project is given an API key, and that API key is used to request CentOS nodes. So you can request, I need 2 CentOS 7 x86 64 machines, and Duffy will give you 2 machines. And it manages your SSH keys, the project SSH keys, so that once those hosts are provisioned, the project actually has root access on a bare metal machine to run the test harness. To give you an idea, just sort of an overview of how that looks, we sort of put together a little bit of a diagram. So over here on the left, you have the open internet projects come through a host called jump.ci. That's basically just a bastion host to sort of keep the slaves and some other things private most of this stuff is actually on a private network, so you need a sort of a jump host to work through. So projects will SSH through jump.ci to get to the individual slaves, and then the Jenkins master and the slaves all communicate with Duffy in order to provision those bare metal nodes. And so usually what happens during the life cycle, people will go through and they'll do their job setup. They'll clone whatever test harnesses they need, whatever resources they need to do the test. They'll provision however many nodes that they need from Duffy using the HTTP API. They'll run their tests, and then they'll give those machines back to the pool in Duffy. And usually we like to see jobs, we don't want jobs taking forever necessarily, and we don't want people to use those Duffy nodes as as static hosts necessarily. So we actually have a reclaim script that runs through, and any hosts that have been active for more than 24 hours, we go ahead and reclaim those sessions. So this is sort of an overview of the architectural stuff. I think we can take a look at what this looks like in practice. So I'm going to come over here to our front page. This is the front page of Jenkins. And you can see there are a ton of jobs in here. We've got, it looks like libguestfs is kind of busy this morning, which is good. So each project has a set of jobs. And you'll notice up here at the top, we've tried to separate them out as much as we can into these separate tabs. So we've got the Atomic App project right here, Atomic Host, the CentOS Core test right here. And generally, when we do the onboarding process, we'll set up a tab for your particular jobs. So what I want to take a look at now is a couple of these test jobs that I have out there. So this is mine. I provisioned just a test project called vStinson, and that's just for our purposes. We can use that today. What I want to take a look at, actually I need to log in here. I'm going to take a look at this job definition. Guess I need to log in again. Here we go. Yeah, so this is a job definition for some tests that we do in Cent package. So I'm basically running the unit test suite that I have. So you can see here, you just give it a job name. One important thing to note is this checkbox where it says restrict where this project can be run. Each project is given its own Jenkins slave, which in those terms it basically just means a workspace that you have access to as a project. So I've restricted it to run in my particular label, which is just the same name as a project. And then if we scroll down here, we have the whole job body. And I'll try to parse this out a little bit for you. Basically, this line right here, the get nodes URL, is the important one. And if you can read Python, basically what this is going to say is we want to hit admin.ci.centos.org/node/get. And then it's going to pass my API key and the version, arch, and the number of machines that I want. And in this case, I want a CentOS 7 machine, x86-64, and I only need one of them. And then I give it the URL to my test suite. And it turns out that my test suite is just integrated in with the rest of Cent package. So over here is the definition for this is actually my run script. So if you notice on this line here, what it does is it checks out that repository, and then it just runs run.sh, which is a sort of a typical thing that projects do. Then you notice afterwards, it calls the node/done URL. That's this line right here. What that does is that goes ahead and returns any nodes that I've requested back into the pool. Now this job body right here is actually copy and pasted from one that KB did. He has a couple of things out on his GitHub that are useful to get started from. So if you head to his GitHub under CentOS CI scripts, you'll see this job definition right there. So let's go ahead and just kick off a build and see what that looks like. Oops. So if you look at the console output and then scroll up here to the top, we can see that we have my slave here in my workspace, which is just my home directory on one of the machines, and it's provisioned a node for us, and then it's running through all of the things that it does. So it does a yum update, installs dependencies, and then down here at the bottom it ran my test suite. And then at the very end it returned that node back into the pool and then reported the success. So Dusty has a question. Where do you get the username and password for your account to ci.centos.org? So in the I think I might have put this in the email template. I'll double check. But basically, those credentials are stored in flat files in the home directory of your project account. So if you can log into the slave to your project account, you should have a couple of files in there that tell you the credentials to the web interface, and that's how you'll create these jobs out there. There are a couple of other ways that we're looking at. We're sort of in the trial phase of looking at things like Jenkins Job Builder, and even a couple of other ways to actually create the jobs. So if you have existing workflows that you're using, we'd love to hear about them, and we'd love to sort of help integrate those into the system. To give you a little bit of required reading here, like I said, the Jenkins URL is just ci.centos.org, and then here's a couple of places that you can go to check out more information about the CI ecosystem. So that was a pretty short overview. I'd be happy to take any questions that you have right now.
What are the bare metal OSs available right now? Right.
Yeah, so right now we're starting with CentOS 5, 6, and 7. As far as I know, we're not planning on doing any other OSs bare metal right now. We are exploring the opportunity to do some virtual machines, but that's sort of a ways out. We want to get sort of a workflow started here with the CentOS platform.
Okay.
All right. Well, that's all I have. If you guys have any questions, or if you run into any trouble, feel free to ping me on #CentOS devel on Freenode. Or really, I'm pinging out a number of different places. So yeah, feel free to ping me, or you can send me email. It's just brian@bstinson.com. Let me actually put that in the. Yeah, I'll be sure that I send that out to you guys. All right, thanks everybody.